I watched a review where the MOTV8 adjustable dumbbells basically fell apart before the first set.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
The No Fade channel checking in.
So of course, I brought a pair home.
And that is why we're here.
So why are we here today?
Because of these.
We have trust issues.
You have trust issues. I have floor issues.
Talking about the hardwood.
I'm talking about what happens when one of these goes through the hardwood and ends up in the basement.
Let's start from the beginning. How did these things end up in your home?
I saw a review. Plates coming off, clips breaking, all of it. And my first thought was, okay, but what happens if you don't torture test them? Like, what happens if you just use them like normal dumbbells?
I think his first thought was to invite them into our living room.
I reached out to MOTV8. I wanted to see what would happen if we trained with them like we train with pretty much everything else. You know, no stress test, no drop test, just normal lifting.
Right, but over hardwood floors.
With rubber flooring on top.
Over hardwood floors.
And a basement with lolly columns with extra bracing.
That is not the point, Jeff.
And they offered you the newer version instead?
They did. MOTV8 said an updated version is coming in July, and they said we would wait for that.
Yeah, but he said no.
Because I wanted to test the version people are actually buying right now.
Over our hardwood floors.
We have rubber flooring over the hardwood.
But it's still hardwood.
Before we go further, tell me about them. What are we working with?
So these go from 11 to 80 pounds. They adjust in 2.2 pound jumps. You know, it's 1 kilogram per click. You twist the handle while they're in the cradle. Pounds are on one side, kilograms are on the other.
They're basically nuobell knockoffs.
They're nuobell inspired.
The same style Gluck's Gym already proved is fragile.
The whole category is fragile. Adrian has done a really good job showing where these designs break and why they break. Even the nuobell S series still has issues, but those are over $1,100.
So we got the cheaper version of the fragile thing.
No, we were sent the cheaper version of the fragile thing. These are $650, free shipping, and they include a one-time replacement if you accidentally drop them. So the handle has about 4 inches of usable grip. Diameter is around 34 to 35 millimeters. The knurling is a medium volcano style. It's more aggressive than a nuobell, but it's not like a power bar. You know, for dumbbell training, this feels just fine. The plates lock together with plastic tabs on the top and bottom. Inside, there's a rod that extends through the stack as you dial up the weight. That rod is what locks the selected plates to the handle. You know, and this is the part that matters. The rod, the plastic tabs, and the clips are the pieces people have had problems with.
And that's what made you nervous?
That is what made me nervous.
I was cautiously optimistic.
He was reckless.
Let's talk about what you knew going in.
I mean, if you've been looking at these, you've probably seen the reviews already. Most of them are not great. Plates falling off, clips breaking. One reviewer had them basically come apart during filming.
Yeah, I know, I watched that one.
You know, and creators like Adrian at Gluck's Gym have taken these designs apart, shown where the weak points are. You know, that work matters. You should watch it. But those reviews answer one question. Where do these break? We wanted to answer a different kind of question. You know, what are they like if you just use them?
And that question wasn't being answered?
I mean, not really. Not in the way most people would actually use them. You know, in a home gym, for more than a couple workouts without throwing them around. I mean, if you're trying to figure out what these are like under normal use, that review is kind of missing. So that's what we're trying to make.
Well, MOTV8 sent these to us for free. That needs to be said. But we use everything the same way, whether we get paid for it or not.
Take me back to the beginning, the very first time. What happened?
Before I tell you that, I want to be clear about something first. Neither time this happened was on camera. You know, and we're not filming, and I'm not going to fake it or stage a recreation just so that we have edit footage of this. So this is just me telling you exactly what happened. You know, first time setting them up, everything felt normal. The dial turned smooth, the plates moved into place, the system made sense. Then I noticed one plate was not fully engaged. It was not falling off, and it was not dangling, but it was not seated the correct way that it should have been. So I pushed it in, and it seated. That was it. Then it didn't happen again for almost an entire month.
And the second time?
Last day of testing, right before we filmed this, I unracked one dumbbell at a slight angle and it caught the next plate. The rod was not extended far enough to hold the plate, so if I had not been watching, a quick shake probably would have knocked it loose.
He did not tell me about that second one until after it happened.
Well, you know, I didn't want to freak you out before we were filming.
Well, then, too late.
2 incidents in a month.
2 incidents, both on the unrack, both caught, both were easy fixes. You know, but that's the whole point. You have to pay attention.
And after the first one, I think he did.
After those experiences, did you consider ending the relationship?
No, but it changed how we use them every single time.
Well, if you're researching adjustable dumbbells right now, subscribe. You're going to want to see what we test next.
Walk me through a typical session.
After that first plate issue, every session starts the same way. Quick check, make sure the plates are seated, then lift. You know, after a few workouts, the check gets faster. You learn what locked feels like. You learn what the click sounds like. You stop feeling the panic and start feeling like part of the routine. And the dial system is nice once you trust it. You know, going from 20 to 35 pounds takes a few seconds. The jumps make sense, but at heavier weights, they actually felt more solid to me, not less.
What about the things that still bother you?
The plates move a little. They're not completely tight together, and you can feel that.
Normal for this style of dumbbell.
Well, I did not say it was not normal. I said you can feel it.
Fair.
And one handle clicks louder than the other. Same pair of dumbbells, different feel.
Well, I mean, it bothered me a little bit too.
What else?
At 80 pounds, the handle creaks. I mean, it is a cheaper plastic handle. I do not think it is failing, but you can hear it.
Kind of sounds like it's failing, though.
It's not failing.
You don't know that.
It's not failing!
No, I do not know that, but it has not failed. And when you combine that creak with the plate movement and everything people have seen in other reviews, yeah, I get why it makes people nervous. You know, and I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. But after a month, here's what I've learned. If I check the plates when I unrack, I don't worry about a plate falling during the lift. That's never happened. The only time a plate caught was during the unrack, and both times it happened because the dumbbell came out at a slight angle. You know, we train in a living room. We've got rubber Freedom Fitness flooring over hardwood, basement below us, lolly columns, and extra bracing underneath. We do not drop weights ever. The dumbbell drone and the Mad Spotters are proof of that. Everything we do with dumbbells is controlled because it has to be controlled. Under those conditions, I have very little worry about these failing during normal use. But if I ever had to dump them because I got hurt or I missed a rep, I'd expect to break a clip. That's just the reality of this product. Day after day, through no failures during the lift, no repeat problems once checking the plates, it's become part of a routine for us.
It sounds like a lot to manage.
I mean, it's not managing, it's just paying attention.
No, it's a little bit of managing.
Perrin, I want to hear your side. When did you start having concerns?
That's the thing. I really didn't at first. I adjusted the weight, did my set, and they felt fine.
So what changed?
Well, Jeff told me about the plate thing, and after that, I started looking for it.
Deal breaker?
No, it was just something you notice.
I think that might be the most diplomatic thing you've said today.
If this kind of review is helping you, hit the like button. It helps us, and it helps other people who are trying to figure this stuff out too.
You mentioned the start and finish of each rep matters more now.
So that's where the Mad Spotters make a lot of sense for us. They give us a simple way to start and finish the set without beating up the dumbbells or our shoulders. You know, not everyone has room for a full set of dumbbell drones like we use sometimes. The Mad Spotters take up almost no space and do a very similar job.
This is the one we trust. It is part of basically every upper body dumbbell workout we do. Not because we lift recklessly, it is because training in a living room means every rep has to start and end under control.
That sounds like progress.
That sounds like coping.
It can be both.
We're getting close to the end. I have to ask you a question you've both been avoiding. After a month of use, what's your honest verdict?
So here's where we land. For how we use dumbbells in our gym with our setup, we have not had a failure. No broken clips, no plates falling during a lift. We've had 2 plates in almost a month stick. You know, both happened on the unrack. Both were caught, both were easy to fix. The handle creaks at 80 pounds, the plates flex a little. One handle clicks differently than the other, you know, and that's our honest experience. At $650, these sit right below original nuobells. We've never owned nuobells, so we're not going to pretend we can make direct comparisons between the two. What we can tell you is what these felt like after almost a month in our gym. You know, the new nuobell S series is over $1,100 now, so depending on your budget, the whole adjustable dumbbell landscape looks differently than it used to. I mean, nobody spending $650 on adjustable dumbbells that they are told not to drop is planning to throw them around. They're going to protect their investment. And that is how we tested these.
If you can get a good discount, you train controlled, you do not drop weights, and you actually pay attention to your equipment, these are worth considering. Not because they are perfect, because they are not, but because under those conditions, they worked really well for us.
You know, but MOTV8 already told us an updated version is coming in July to address the clip issue. You know, and if the company is telling you the current version is something worth fixing, you should listen to that. If you can wait, I'd wait. If the price is right and you understand what you're getting, I don't think these are a bad dumbbell. I think they're a dumbbell that asks you to pay attention.
And in our living room, we were always going to do that anyway.
I mean, we review equipment the way we actually use it. And we use it in a living room where every rep matters. If these failed under normal use, we'd tell you. They did not. And to MOTV8's credit, this does seem like a brand that's starting to listen, and you know, that matters too.
I think we've made real progress today. Same time next week?
Well, it really depends on what he brings home next.
Links are in the description if you want to check these out.
And if you've used the OmniBells, leave us a comment. We really want to know if your experience matched ours.
And remember, trust is a process.
See? She gets it.
Well, she doesn't have hardwood floors.